This,
Dave, real quick, can I comment on this? Well, I look at this is, we'll probably both of us, Scott Township and Bloomsburg, will look at the cost to do this cleanup, or at least the major debris. It may, if we find that even after we do that, it has minimal impact on what the cause of the issue is, so I'm pretty sure we're gonna still look at a long-term solution. Usually the way we handle it is through CEDACOG if it's available, and through the state. And maybe, I don't know what other grant programs we have, but.
And I do know that CEDACOG is looking at something long-term, but really, you know, we're creeping on all fours right now. We haven't taken our first two steps on that. But I want to give the individuals in this audience at least a decent night's rest, knowing that, you know, we're not stalled on this thing, that we're moving ahead. There's various options that are here now, and there'll probably be new options that will present themselves, and we'll be ready to meet that. Yes?
One thing I'd just like to comment on, in regards to your comments, I'm sorry, I don't know his name, about the dredging.
Jared Dressler, I'm the assistant.
Like I said earlier, I was born and raised where we live now. Our portion of Kinney Run, and I don't know about up further, but every year that portion was dredged. Now, at any given day during the summer, you could go down there by the creek and catch all the frogs that you could ever imagine. They were all over the place. Okay? It hasn't been dredged in years. You're lucky if you see 2 frogs during the whole summer. But what you will see is 6-foot-long water snakes in our yard, snapping turtles the size of garbage can lids, and mosquitoes that we can't even sit. The creek is approximately 60, 70 yards from our house. You can't even sit behind our house because of the mosquitoes. Now, we did have an agency down a couple of years ago because the mosquitoes were getting bad. They tested the mosquitoes and of course said, you know, there was no West Nile, but they told us to keep the stagnant water off our land. Right, okay. We can't keep it because it is stagnant. The trees down there are falling over, and huge trees. They have no roots. The roots are all wet, they're rotted off. You know, our bank is gone. Our bank goes right in, there is no bank, it's our yard and then Kinney Run. He can't mow the grass down there anymore because it's always wet. You know, so while I understand that maybe dredging is not feasible,
What I was trying to explain was, I don't want to go, we shouldn't go to the end level first. I think it's helpful to know what the source is. So what changed? You know, we don't know what changed necessarily. From what we're here to listen tonight. We don't know the answers at this point. But for instance, you could have multiple factors. There could be significantly more development upstream. There could be stormwater issues where we were talking about rate and volume stormwater issues. There could be lots of factors. I think it'd be helpful to know what those factors are. That's what I was trying to get at more so than anything else.
We live next to her. And I think if you clean the run out as far as you can, north and south or whatever, it's going to take care of the small and medium rains. But beyond that, the 1972 flood and the 2011 flood, it wouldn't do anything because that water has got to get out to the river. And if it cannot get out to the river, it isn't going to go anywhere. Right. That's the whole problem. And I see no way of solving that. You can't have all the growth we had on the north side of Route 11 with all the businesses and houses that have been built up on Crestwood and the other areas up there off Central Road, have all that building going on and not have all this runoff. But, well, what are you going to do with the runoff? You can't stop it at Route 11. And like I say, if you clean them out, it's going to take care of her problem probably. And there by the recycle place, they clean it out one summer and the next summer it's grown up again. So it is a hard job to keep it cleaned out. But all I'm saying is, if it can't get out to the river, it's still going to back up. I seen it back up at our place in '72, and 2011 was worse. And the 2011 was worse, I think partially because of the weather forecast and the walls that they put up at Wilkes-Barre.
Oh, yeah.
So, and I don't see a solution to get that water into the river before the river comes up. Once it gets close to cresting, you clean out ditches and everything else, ain't gonna do nothing. It's still gonna back up. It's backup water we're getting, it's not getting out.
The ditches give it away to back up.
John, exactly what you identified is what our goal is here today,
Right.
with the cooperation from the agencies and the township and the town to do immediate cleanup, you know, under the parameters of a permit. And as you are well aware of this meeting, that there are some long-range issues being studied right
So
now.
if you can get those choke points cleaned up, it's gonna help a lot of these people.
And like we
The other
said
thing
before,
we need, Bill Fleischer's here, we need a new pipe over Walnut Street.
Okay.
That's enough. Pothole on a pipe. It's been there since I've been a kid.
I remember that.
They tried to fill it up this year again, and, you know, it's still there, it's wore out.
He was a kid too. Now, before we take any other comments out of the audience, soil conservation is here, Barry and Mary. Would you like to weigh in on anything? You have any comments on anything?
I think you go head to head, it's gotta take a study to know what's going on. And, you gotta go through the permit process and whatever DEP's willing to go with. But the only thing I'm gonna say is every time I've seen somebody dredge a creek, 2-3 years later, it's back in full again. At best, that's a very temporary solution.
Well, I know that we had an issue unrelated to this, but for example, in Fishing Creek with the gravel barring that was there, and Tom, you may want to close your ears to this, but you know, 200 feet and more was that amount of paperwork. So we successfully took 199 feet. But we may have a project some point in the future where we can identify another 199 feet. But you are correct that if you go down and take a look, having done the 199, there's encroachment on there again. And you'll always have that. But I think one of the keys to it is that if there's a yearly maintenance plan that doesn't involve a whole lot, that it will help. May not solve it all, but it will take care of maybe 90% of the issues with stagnant water or whatever it is. I mean, that's just my feeling, but I think that what you all should get out of this today is that there is a cooperative, agreement here, a spirit among the state agencies and your local officials that they want to do something. And we all stand ready to work together. And Karen Venditti is here from Senator Gordner's office. Senator Gordner and I have worked with these officials, all of them, successfully in the past and have had good results. So, I don't have any negative feelings that we're not going to be able to work together. I think that we will. With that having been said, before we go further, I want to thank Sandy from my staff for pulling all these resources and individuals together. How about a round of applause for that?
Our staff has been down and looked at several of the issues you discussed, and there are some choke points that obviously can be addressed. Again, it's not going to take care of all the issues, but there are areas that can be addressed. I brought something with me today that addresses a lot of the concerns. It's a guideline we have called Guideline for Maintaining Streams in Your Community. And it's a very simple, what you can and cannot do. And a lot of the stuff that people have, the myth is, and that the fear is, you can't go into the stream. You can go into a stream with a piece of equipment, but you can obviously clean debris out of the stream to protect your property. If you have a culvert or a bridge and you have tree roots against it or a tree, you can remove that. You can just off from the bank, and you can get that debris out of there and let that water flow through. if you have stuff growing on the bank, you can, again, if it's impeding the water, you can take care of that. And so anyway, this book, there's so many untruths out there about what you can and cannot do. I did not expect this many people here today, but I have...
It's a problem.
I have a lot of them, but I'll make sure Representative Millard has more at his office. But it really, it's a good guideline of how you can protect your property and still keep the streams free of debris. And I understand it, you'll be able to understand it. But again, yes.
What happens when you do not own the property? Like my backyard is like 30 feet from the stream. Somebody owns that wetland back there. So I couldn't go out there and start cleaning up the stream. Well, I have no idea who owns that, and it is wetlands because I checked on the county map. What do you do with somebody that you don't know?
What's your address?
1032 Clifton
I
Drive.
will say it's that whole area back there where their trees fall
Yep.
over.
Yeah.
We can't even, the ground's never dry enough to even get machines back there, so that's not an issue. But
Yeah, yeah.
you can't take a chainsaw, you can't get anything back there, and then even if you were to get back, the logs are so heavy, a grown man could remove it. So,
And I have
Yes.
deer that won't even come into the yard because
Yeah.
they're afraid they have their house.
Your Scott Township officials, they're gonna check and see who owns that land back
Awesome.
there.
I would appreciate